Uh, Welcome, students. Today, I will be discussing on respiratory system MCQs. The focus is on these three topics. That is uh, interstitial lung disease, hypersensitive pneumonitis, and pneumoconiosis. Okay, this is the focus of the today. And the first MCQ. All are true about interstitial fibrosis, except. So those people who have attended previous class, I think so this MCQ will be easy for them. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So we classify respiratory disease into
Two
what?
categories: obstructive
Obstructive,
and restrictive.
obstructive and
Obstructive and respiratory.
obstructive and
Restrictive.
restrictive. Okay, restrictive diseases. Hmm? Hold on, somebody must have joined. I'll just accept them. Hmm? Obstructive and restrictive diseases. People are joining.
Restrictive.
Hmm? Okay. So the respiratory diseases are classified as obstructive and restrictive. So what basic difference is in obstructive and restrictive is the ratio. Which is that ratio?
FEV1 by
FEV1 by FVC. This is the ratio. It will be less than 0.7 in case of obstructive. Whereas in restrictive, it will be more than this.
More than
Okay. And in obstructive, the what residual volume? Obstructive, the residual volume will be more. It will be
yes.
increased. It will be increased. Whereas in restrictive, it will not be increased. So the total lung capacity is increased in obstructive,
Obstructive.
whereas in restrictive, it may be decreased because residual volume is increased. However, vital capacity. What is vital capacity? TLC, that is total lung volume, equal to vital capacity, that is FVC.
residual
Okay,
volume.
Plus
FVC. Otherwise, you can call it as vital capacity means FVC plus RV, that is residual volume, is equal to TLC, that is total lung capacity. Total lung capacity is increased, whereas FVC is not much increased. In obstructive, only this is increased, that is RV, residual volume. So this question is, all are true about interstitial fibrosis. Interstitial fibrosis, it is a
restrictive disease.
restrictive disease. Restrictive disease. So what do you expect? So that is FVC, functional vital capacity, less than 80%.
Correct.
See, sometimes what happens is the functional vital capacity can also get reduced. In functional vital capacity, sorry, we are discussing about interstitial fibrosis. The functional vital capacity get reduced in interstitial fibrosis because lungs cannot expand. That's the reason it will be less. And what about this ratio? This ratio, FEV1. What is FEV1? Expand this.
Volume and fast.
Forced expiratory
Volume.
volume first second. In
Yes.
first second. That is the speed at which the person can expire after taking the full inspiration. Maximum inspiration the patient has to take, person has to take, then has to expire with the full speed. That is FEV1. That is FEV1. And FVC, as you know, I told you it is less. Not much. FEV1 is this FEV1 may be reduced. May be reduced in interstitial fibrosis, but along with this FVC get reduced more. It doesn't. This reduction. Hold on. Somebody has joined. Okay. Welcome, Dr. Pasangdi. So I'll explain this once more. See, we are discussing interstitial lung disease, which is a restrictive disease. So FEV1 is what happens in FVC interstitial fibrosis? The reduction of FeV1, FeV1, reduction is not much. Unlike what? Obstructive lung disease. In obstructive lung disease, FeV1 reduction is more. But in restrictive lung disease, it may not reduce much. It may be reduced less, or it may remain status quo. But FVC gets reduced. Gets reduced. But it is reduction. In total, the reduction of this ratio will not be there. Reduction of the ratio. Reduction of FeV1 bar FVC ratio is, its reduction is less. So it remains more than 0.7 of the predicted in case of restrictive. Whereas in obstructive, the reduction is much more. So in obstructive lung disease, this is true. That is, this ratio reduction is true. Whereas in restrictive lung disease, its reduction is untrue. And what about DLCO?
It's correct, sir.
DLCO,
Decreased.
I know it is correct. I expect you to answer. What is diffusion of carbon dioxide? So in a patient with obstructive lung disease, there is no much problem with the diffusion. No much problem with the diffusion, except in emphysema. Okay. Emphysema, there is destruction of alveoli also. Although it is a obstructive lung disease, emphysema, there is a destruction of the alveoli. So DLCO may get decreased there. Except for emphysema, obstructive lung disease, DLCO is normal. Whereas interstitial lung disease, the disease is in fact with the alveoli, with the interstitium, with the vasculature. It starts from epithelium of the endothelium of the alveoli to the endothelium of the blood vessel, through and through. Even in fact, alveolar sac also can be involved in interstitial lung disease. So this DLCO get decreased in restrictive lung disease. Whereas in obstructive, it is not reduced. It may be normal, except in emphysema. Which is that restrictive lung disease where the DLCO, I'm trying to revise fast. If you see the recorded classes of this, it will be more detail. I'm newcomers, I'm telling this. The DLCO, there is one restrictive lung disease. Classical MCQ, restrictive lung disease, where DLCO will not decrease. Which is that?
Good pasture.
Good pasture and alveolar
Alveolar.
hemorrhage. These two. So TLC is decreased. Now you tell me. Now answer this. All are true about interstitial fibrosis. This is a restrictive lung disease. So the FPC is decreased. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Decrease. What about this ratio?
Greater than
You don't
0.7.
agree, because it is a feature of obstructive lung disease.
Obstructive.
DLCO is decreased. Very good. Except for those alveolar hemorrhage and good pasture.
Yes.
TLC is decreased because of this FUC. So this is the answer, accept answer. The newcomers, are you confused? Okay, because these things are important to understand respiratory questions, because most of the questions will be wandering around this restrictive, obstructive lung diseases and all that. If these concepts are not very much clear, you will really get confused here. Please see those recorded classes. Now, shall I go to the second MCQ? 40-year-old female presents with progressive dyspnea for a year. Physical examination reveals bibasilar end inspiratory crepitations. All of the following statements are about her conditions are true, except what is this? Bibasilar. Inspiratory lung
restrict.
disease. What is the classical feature of which is the condition which presents with this? End inspiratory crepitations. Usually the crepitations of asthma, bronchi, all where you hear them during what phase of respiration? Inspiration or expiration?
Expiration, sir.
Expiration.
Yeah, very good. The usually all those bronchiectasis and all those crepitations they are on the expiratory phase. Now they are telling here end inspiratory crepitation. Look at here, something unusual. Huh? So this is a classical feature of interstitial lung
Interstitial lung.
fibrosis. Huh?
Yes,
Other
sir.
also called as usual interstitial pneumonia. IPF, interstitial pulmonary fibrosis. Sorry, this is interstitial pulmonary fibrosis or usual interstitial pneumonia. Both are synonymous. Huh? These terms are loosely interchanged. Huh? So this is something very classical by bacillar and inspiratory crepitations. All of the following statements are about her conditions are true now. So when you know that it is a case of IPF or UIP, otherwise these two terms you better get acquainted. UIP and IPF. So now you know that is a restricted lung disease. What do you expect here? May be associated with the connective tissue disease, or it is IPF. Can it be associated with connective diseases?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah, they are associated.
sir.
Huh? Some causes are known, some uncauses are unknown. So many things are there. Definitely, some kinds of IPF are associated with connected some diseases. This is okay for you. Residual volume is increased. Where you
No,
get
sir.
increased residual volume?
No, sir.
Obstructive.
In
Obstructive.
obstructive lung diseases. So this being a prime example of restricted lung disease, this is unlikely for us. Okay. And you will see total lung capacity is decreased. Yes, because
Yes.
FVC or vital capacity, functional vital capacity, it is decreased. Due to this, total lung capacity is also decreased. HRCT is a used diagnostic, definitely, undoubtedly. This is the best test for us. Now, in this case, which is a except one, second one,
Second
Second
one.
one.
because this is a feature of
Obstructive.
obstructive lung
Obstructive.
disease. Okay, I'll go to the next question. No, some slides are there on interstitial lung diseases. These slides are made. One thing you should know from edition to edition of Harrison, the classification of interstitial lung disease keeps on changing. So 20th edition has given something else, and the 16th, 17th edition has given something, and every time it keeps on changing because this group of diseases is very much heterogeneous. Very much heterogeneous. So what I found was newest, please go through the newer edition of Harrison and also from previous edition. So I want to, before going into the new edition, I want to tell you something about what I saw in the previous edition, which I read in the past. Interstitial lung diseases were, I will put it as were only, now because it has changed classification. They were classified inflammatory and granulomatous in the past. Just remember this, there's some usage of this now also. Although the present day classification differs, they were classified into inflammatory and granulomatous. Inflammatory, I mean, you can imagine where is just the inflammation with fibrosis and all that. Granuloma formation, there are many, vaginous granulomatous, check stress, so many things are there. Granulomatous lung diseases. So these two were there. So this is the way they were classifying it. Apart from this inflammatory and inflammatory, inside this, they were again classified into known cause, unknown cause. They were, so interstitial lung disease in the past were classified into inflammatory, and granulomatous. These are previous classification. This inflammatory, these two were divided into known cause, unknown cause, and known cause. Similarly, unknown cause, known cause. This was a basic classification in the previous editions. Now, what has happened is the classified it a bit differently, and somehow I was finding it a bit more confusing. Anyway, this is just keep this in back of your mind. Okay. These are the and also these interstitial lung diseases do include one more group of diseases: hypersensitive. Those people who read the Davidson now, hypersensitive pneumonitis. What is the other name for this? Extrinsic alveolar, extrinsic allergic alveolitis. Sorry, extrinsic allergic alveolitis. These are the other names for that. So this hypersensitive pneumonitis. I'll come to all of them slowly one by one. Just remember these terms. Now, interstitial lung disease is a big group. In that, many things are there. It could be inflammatory, it could be granulomatous, it could be known cause, it could be unknown cause. Again, you can have hypersensitive pneumonitis with exposure to organic dust, inorganic dust, all the asbestosis, silicosis, co-worker lung diseases, then your byssinosis, bagosis, everything falls in and around this. Of course, byssinosis may go out of this. It is a more of a obstructive lung disease, but rest of them will come and fall here. Anyway, it's not totally out of byssinosis. Predominantly, it is obstructive lung disease. Anyway, I'll come to that. So these are the diffuse parenchymal lung diseases. Some have a known cause, some have we don't know the cause. So when you don't know the cause, you call it a idiopathic. So IPF is a one thing of it. Okay. These involve the lung tissue from alveolar endothelium to the epithelium and vascular endothelium. Nothing is left here actually inside the lung parenchyma. Even the alveolus can be filled with the granuloma and all that. It can fill that also. Even the bronchioles, terminal bronchioles and alveoli also can be filled with the granulation tissue and all that stuff. So that's about this. Predominant complaint is, look at this one thing here. Now in pneumonias, you get usually what? Cough with sputum. Here it is predominantly, even pneumonia can be called as interstitial lung disease in a way. In previous Harrison, yes, he has put it in interstitial lung disease. You know that dry cough is a chronic lung disease which is there. It is usually dry cough. Okay. If you get a cough with sputum and all that, the classic definition of chronic bronchitis, you people must be remembering. What is the definition of chronic bronchitis? 3 months cough in 2 continuous with sputum. Remember that. It will be dry cough, dyspnea, may be associated with hemoptysis. Okay. These are the one broad view of interstitial lung disease. Okay. Then association and causation, same. It could be multisystemic with associated with connective disease disorders, occupational, and here smoking. Smoking doesn't only cause your chronic bronchitis; it can also cause ILD. That is there is called as bronchial obliterate. I'll come to that. Special type of smoking induced ILD that is there. So in fact, it can associate with other things also. But even with pneumoconiosis, smoking can add up and worsen the interstitial lung disease or hypersensitive pneumonitis. Okay, this is also there. Smoking can. Now, yeah, this slide is a bit. I don't think so. Whether you, how many people will be able to read your mobile phones? Anyway, I'll be going these diseases individual also. Now, before going into, I want to just go this IPF or also what I called UIP. Usual interstitial pneumonitis. Okay. So this is, look at this. It is a gradual onset, shortness of breath, dry cough, unusual in young adults. Usually it is in the 5th and 6th decade. This one. Now here there is one more by the side. Non-specific interstitial pneumonia. It is usually subacute. Subacute. This is very gradual. In young females, it is young females. Males are more common involved here, and this has got a better prognosis. So mortality is only 18% here, whereas it got 50%. Okay, and the pattern of pathological involvement is here and there in the lung. It is not uniform involvement of the lung. Is not uniform. This is a very thing. That's why it is very classical. It is called UIP pattern. usual interstitial pneumonitis, UIP pattern, that is it belongs to this term, UIP. UIP, what we people call when you started in Harrison, you may come across this UIP, usual interstitial pneumonia. That refers to non-uniform involvement of the lung. That's all it means usually. And there is a very much classical here in the IPF. Okay. And here you get honeycomb because non-involvement is there. Honeycomb, pull and push of the fibrous tissue that can be there. There can be traction, bronchiectasis. All honeycombing is seen here. And the involvement here is lower lobe. Unlike the sarcoidosis, it is upper lobe. Bilateral, this is sarcoidosis, this last one. Bilateral hilar lymphadenopathy is there. It is apical lobe. Apical lobe fibrosis, this is. This is again granulomatous type. This is not a granulomatous one. Okay. And then this one, this is females, non-smokers. And now this one, third one here, respiratory bronchiolitis associated with ILD. This is classical of smokers. Classical of smokers. So the inflammation is usually uniform and predominantly by macrophages.
हाँ क्यों हाँ बता क्या हुआ
Please,
क्या कह रहा है बता
the mic is
खाना खा लूंगा मैं 9:30
guys, please can you switch off the mic if there is disturbance in the background? Okay, thank you. So you know about systemic sclerosis. Systemic sclerosis can have both UIP pattern and NSIP pattern. Now, what is UIP pattern means? What I said? Non-informed. NSIP pattern means uniform involvement. That's what these two terms are meaning here. Systemic sclerosis associated with ILD means it can be non-informed. Usual interstitial pneumonitis or NSIP. This pattern they're talking about. NSIP means this pattern. NSIP means informed involvement. Both can be there. These things you try to know. IPF, irregular involvement with fibrosis and all that. NSIP means regular involvement. Whole parenchyma will be involved uniformly. That's what these two terms are standing for. And sarcoidosis, you people must have read about this in pathology, non-cascading granulomas. These things can come somewhere in MCQs. That's why I'm putting the table here. Okay. Now, the classical involvement is usually basal IPF. This is interstitial fibrosis. More of basal, apical may be involved, basilar, and the reticular pattern what you see is predominantly in the periphery. In chronic bronchitis, you see it predominantly here, where you see reticular pattern is from the periphery. Okay, these things, and you can see honeycombing here. Here also see here honeycombing.
Voice is not audible, sir.
What? Hello? Hello? Okay. If you got any no doubts, I'll go to the next. Okay. That's about just introduction of interstitial lung disease. Now I'll take up them one by one with each question. Now a female patient has come with history of progressive breathlessness. It's a female patient. Histology shows heterogeneous here now. Heterogeneous patchy fibrosis with the several fibroblastic foci. This one is there. And the most likely diagnosis is, you tell me what is this?
Usual interstitial pneumonia.
Yeah, UIP pattern. Because it is a heterogeneous patchy fibrosis. This is the one. But of course, female patient is there. You may tend for this. Female patient, non-specific interstitial pneumonia. But diagnose. This is something which is very catchy. You should focus on this. A patchy involvement. Usual interstitial pneumonitis, otherwise also called as IPF. It can happen even with what is a systemic sclerosis and all the stuff. But UIP is almost synonymous with IPF. That is idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis. I'll come to the discombatitive and all that. I got slides on that. Now, yeah, the slide is here. Discombatitive interstitial pneumonia. It is a chronic inflammation with the mononuclear cell inflammation, and it is almost exclusively with smokers. Involves lung parenchyma uniformly. See, lung parenchyma uniformly. So this choice is here. In this is out. Okay, because the uniform involvement of lung parenchyma is there in people call it as DIP, desquamative interstitial pneumonia. And people should stop smoking and corticosteroids can be given. Now we'll go to cryptogenic organizing pneumonia. That was a choice here. Okay, first choice. Okay, can occur with connective tissue diseases, example polymyositis, or maybe also polymalignancy, and subpleural patchy consolidation with a ground glass appearance. Usually, it is organizing pneumonia, ground, not like focal fibrosis and all that, but what is a classical? And patchy areas of organizing pneumonia with the granulation tissue. See here, granulation tissue here. Okay, it is not a what we are asking for fibrotic inflammatory type. It is a granulation tissue. What is there? And it is organizing pneumonia type here. And small airways and alveoli are involved. And treatment is corticosteroids. Corticosteroids. Just show that the one CT, I think so. Yeah. See, this is a usually consolidation. What do you see? It will be involving one lung, one lobe, something like that. Here it is patchy. These are all consolidations. What you are seeing here is all consolidation. Everything is but it is patchy. You can see. And subpleural halo. See there is a gap between the this chest cavity and this one. There is a gap. It is not involved. This is called as atoll sign. Reverse halo sign, which is seen in cryptogenic organizing pneumonitis. Pneumonia, otherwise, sorry. Okay. So this is not the one. In this choice, what is given is in this question. So we ruled out this one. Cryptogenic also unlikely. We ruled out that also. We ruled out that. Non-specific interstitial pneumonia. I think so. I discussed this. Anyway, I got slide on that. Usually, I have got a slide on this one. Usual interstitial pneumonia, otherwise also called as interstitial pulmonary fibrosis, is also called as, okay, that same thing is here. Common in 5th and 6th decade of life, affects men more than women. It has got a poor prognosis. 3 to 5 years, 50% will die. And bacillar involvement with honeycombing is seen. Fibrotic changes with alternating normal lung tissue is something which is important here. And in the past, we used to give immunosuppression. Now we are not giving this. No corticosteroids are giving if the diagnosis is IPF. In the past, they used to give. In fact, it is not advised. Not advised. Give because giving them worsens. Unless, of course, if it is associated with the connective tissue diseases, which is demanding corticosteroids, you can add up. But only lung with IPF, please don't give corticosteroid. And oxygen therapy is the best. Now, yeah, non-specific interstitial pneumonia. As I said, it is a common in females, non-smokers, uniform lung involvement, no honeycomb. 5-year mortality, 5-year survival is 80%. Treated with immunosuppression. Yeah, that's it. That's about this. Now I will go to one more aspect of interstitial lung disease, that is hypersensitive pneumonitis. It is also called as extrinsic allergic alveolitis. It all means that something from the external world is an allergen or an antigen is responsible for this pneumonitis. That's all. These are the group of diseases which are of this kind. Okay. See, this is a granulomatous inflammation. It can be fibrotic also. So sorry, it is granulomatous. It is a granulomatous inflammation of the lung parenchyma, not fibrotic. This is a granulomatous inflammation of the lung parenchyma. Either it can be obstructive or restrictive. More often it is restrictive, but this Bisnosus is obstructive. Bisnosus, where you get Bisnosus? Bisnosus, etiology, cotton. I'll come to that. Okay.
Cotton, sir.
Yeah, cotton. It presents more like asthma. That's why it is obstructive. Rest are all more or less are restrictive. The presentation of hypersensitive pneumonitis could be acute, subacute, or chronic, depending upon the etiology, and occur due to inhalation of antigen, as I said. That's why it is called extrinsic allergic alveolitis, and it is a granulomatous inflammation. So these are the term of the hypersensitive pneumonitis. The most important is this one: Farmer's lung. Bagosis is sugar cane. Both are actually caused by similar organisms, thermophilic actinomycetes only. This is sugar cane. This is a grain, mold, and mold hay, and all these things will cause farmer's lung. Bagosis is sugar cane. And other things are a bird, fancer's lung. So many things are there. You can go through this. Anyway, these slides will be given to you. You can go through them. And these things are taken from Harrison. Don't take Harrison. Okay. Other occupational diseases, many are there. Yeah. So HRCT is showing one other classical hypersensitive pneumonitis, how it will be. This is, you can see, this is called as ground glass. You can appreciate ground glass.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there is a
Yes,
ground
sir.
glass here. You can see this is a ground glass here. Ground glass means, if you to give better example is, now aluminum partition is there. You have seen aluminum partition. Above that, for the lower part, they put cardboard, and upper part, they put many a times a glass which is not transparent. If you're not able to imagine, suddenly. So that sort of glass, it is ground glass. Okay, you can see that. These are ground glass. Okay, it is the one thing which you can get a hypersensitive pneumonitis. Now, we'll go to individual of hypersensitive pneumonitis, that is farmer's lung. Farmer's lung
Thermoactinomyces.
what?
Thermoactinomyces.
Yeah, farmer's lung. Yeah, the previous slide was telling this. This is there. What are the organisms included along with this? There are many, not only one. There are 4 or 5 are there.
Yes, sir.
And sometimes one thing classically, as Akar said, it is thermoactinomycetes, mycetes, tertiary, and occasionally Aspergillus species also can cause farmer's lung. The answer definitely has to be this. This is very occasional one. Don't pick up this answer. This is the answer. Okay. I'll come to the next slide. Yeah, I have a slide on that. Now, farmer's lung. This is a picture to make you remember what is farmer's lung because of mold, hay, and all that. Okay. It is a type of hypersensitive pneumonitis. Involves terminal airways. These are the thermophilic actinomycetes. There are under that there are about 5 species are there. Sarcopolyspora, Thermomycetes, vulgaris, viridans, Sachara, candidus. This group can cause this farmer's lung, and even occasionally Aspergillus species also can cause farmer's lung. And both humoral and cell-mediated immunity are responsible for farmer's lung. The presentation could be acute, subacute, or chronic. Acute in the sense following the exposure within 4 to 5 hours or something like that, patient develops fever, chills, non-productive cough, chest diagnosis, and dyspnea. They present very fast, and if the person is taken away from that exposure of the antigen, then he subsides within 12 hours. That is acute presentation. Okay. In subacute, they present with a chronic cough, dyspnea, anorexia, weight loss over weeks to months. Okay. The chronic means irreversible lung damage to be. Fibrosis will occur, and all that will cause prolonged exposure. Chronic form. There are ways the farmer's lung can present. And note this, and tomorrow I'll be discussing about hypereosinophilic syndromes. Okay, there is no eosinophilia in farmer's lung. There is no eosinophilia. You get leukocytes. What are hypereosinophil syndromes? One, classical Loeffler syndrome. Many are there. Allergic, bronchopulmonary, aspergillosis. I'll discuss that tomorrow. Anyway, just note this. Formous lung means it will be leukocytosis. No eosinophil. And IgG suggests only exposure to the antigen, but it doesn't mean the patient has a disease unless these things are there. Okay. And that is understandable. Chest X-ray between attacks can be normal. And when there is a problem, there will be consolidation in acute cases. Subacute means a reticular pattern. Chronic cases means areas of fibrosis and all that. And one thing you should know that pulmonary apices are usually spared in Farmer's lung. This is one thing which you should know. Watch which are the diseases where you get apex are involved.
Sarcoidosis.
Sarcoidosis.
Your TB, man. Never forget that. Tuberculosis. Pulmonary apex are spared. And HRCT, fibrosis with honeycombing may be seen. Peribronchial distribution nodules with the ground glass in acute case. Actually, that what I showed was this case only. Okay, I got one more. Yeah. See, in acute phase, you got a ground glass. This is more beautiful compared to that. This is a ground glass. Okay. Acute case of farmer lung will present like this, whereas a chronic case will present like this with a particular pattern. Pulmonary function test, what do you expect? Restrictive pattern. Okay. DLCO will be decreased only, and treatment is steroids and avoid exposure to the antigen. That's about farmer's lung. Now, occupational lung disease commonly seen in textile industry workers.
Asbestosis.
Textile means cotton, yeah. Bisonosis, yeah. Bisonosis. Somebody said asbestosis. No, asbestos is not.
Bisonosis.
Okay. Come that. I'll come to that. Bisonosis is cotton. Cotton means bisonosis. Yeah, I put a few image so that you should able to remember it. Okay. Spinning and manufacture of cotton are associated with bisonosis. Along with this cotton, even this endotoxin of this gram-negative bacteria can also cause bisonosis. Okay. Usually there is a contamination of this factories with this all this. That if the industry is not maintaining hygiene, then these things can also add up. The patient presents with coughing, usually dry, chest tightness, dyspnea. And as I said, this is a obstructive type. Remember this. Okay. Bisonosis. So it behaves like asthma. And the most patients of asthma, they complain dyspnea in the evening or in the night. Am I correct?
Yes,
unlike asthma, who get spasms and all that, they get it in the evening after the work is over. But these patients of bisonosis, they get it the moment they get exposed the antigen. So at the beginning of the work, Monday morning only, it is also called as Monday disease. Okay. The moment they get Saturday, Sunday, they'll be holiday. They go to Monday morning, they get bisonosis, spasm like dyspnea. And pulmonary function test, as I said, it is obstructive because it simulates what? Asthma. Lung fibrosis and chronic exposure can also occur. And as I said, it is like asthma, then this definitely comes into picture, bronchodilators. What are the bronchodilators you know of?
Sir, salmeterol, short-acting, long-acting.
Dariphyrin, all those things. Okay. And steroids and at work mask. Okay. Now I am in bagosis now. This is a sugar cane. Okay. Hypersensitive pneumonia similar to the farmer's lung it is. It behaves like a farmer's lung, more or less. Sometimes they, in fact, they can be mixed also. Airborne residual fibrous of a material of sugar extraction, sugar cane, sugar extraction. That can be bagosis can come. And as I said, very similar organism. Thermoactinomyositis vulgaris is the cause of bagosis. Okay. Lung autopsy shows autopsy. Not this one. Autopsy shows needle-like spicules in the pulmonary tissue. Acute insidious onset. It can acute or insidious onset, both can be there. Acute to large exposure, sudden exposure. Subacute will be slow exposure. It can have develop over a span of 4 months to 10 months. And severe shortness of breath will be there. Cough, fever, malaise, weight loss, dry cough. After stopping exposure to 6 months, there will be recovery. Usually, prognosis is good. Of course, the person doesn't can stop himself by getting exposed, then the complications can occur. Like interstitial lung fibrosis also can develop. Some people can develop this COPD, especially also the smoking and all that. These things can happen, COPD, which is affect, of course. Otherwise, it is restrictive only. And there can be hemoptysis, pneumothorax, pleuritis, chronic interstitial pneumonia, and malignancy. Very rare. Don't pick up this. Now, sometimes they'll ask you a question. Which are these occupational diseases? There will asbestosis choice, and if there is a bagosis, don't pick up this bagosis. Take the asbestosis. Okay? These are rare
Yes,
things. I'll come to that. Okay. Yeah, I suppose. Think of the devil, and devil is here. Okay. Asbestosis. Asbestosis, it is not only one thing. It can be chrysolite, amosite, then what is this? Anthophyllite and procydolite. But these are the group of substances, inorganic dust it is. And usually it is seen in mining, milling, manufacturing, shipbuilding, construction trade workers, trades, including pipe fitters and boiler makers. These are the group of individuals who are prone to develop this asbestosis. One thing is which is important here is pleural plaque. Okay, of course, this doesn't suggest a severe disease, only it suggests there is an exposure to asbestosis. Okay, you should remember this pleural plaque formation, which is something like a very sine qua non of asbestosis. Okay, sine qua non of asbestosis. Then diffuse lung fibrosis can occur. This is the most important thing, lung cancer. And lung cancer can be there, even mesothelioma of pleura and peritoneum, both are associated with this asbestosis. And as I said, the lung function test is what? Restrictive. Okay. Yeah, this is, you can see some plaque here. Some plaque here. Here, plaques are nicely seen here. Pleural plaque. Remember this plaque. Pleural plaque, asbestosis, something like that. Okay. You can tick that. Yeah, we'll go to silicosis. It could be exposure to crystalline quartz or free silica. And mining, stone cutting, sand blasting, glass and cement manufacturers are the one. Foundry workers who are prone for this. Acute silicosis similar to pulmonary proteinosis. I'll show that CT next. Acute, there can be acute also, there can be chronic and all that. And in this chronic one, there will be calcification of the hilar nodes with the eggshell pattern. Some people can ask this question. Eggshell pattern, hilar lymph node. And one thing is important is tuberculosis. It involves apical lung fields. Okay. Silicosis involves apical lung fields. Okay. Yeah. This is a acute silicosis with multiple nodules. It may not be restricted to the apex when it is acute. Large exposure of silica patient can present acutely like this. CT. Okay. And it is not very good prognosis. Okay. Chronic silicosis. This is the apex, apical cut section at the apical lung field. Okay. You can see this is at the apex involvement. These all nodules will be there here. And this can get complicated with what? TB, tuberculosis. You're getting that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Something like, what is Kaplan syndrome?
Sir, rheumatoid arthritis with pneumoconiosis.
Which pneumoconiosis?
Rheumatoid arthritis.
Pneumoconiosis is not a single disease. I told you about already half a dozen. You tell me which one in that? Silicosis, coal workers, pneumoconiosis. Which one of that?
Silicosis.
Because
Initially, it was decided. It was with the coal workers pneumoconiosis initial detection. Now we know that it comes with the silica. Okay, there will be apex. There will be nodule formation in the apex of the lung. With the patient will be having a known case of rheumatoid arthritis. If he gets exposed to this silica, they develop Kaplan syndrome. These are rare with the pulmonary nodule and with the rheumatoid arthritis. First with coal markers, now you want silica, it is there. That too, seropositive rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis, sometimes it is diagnosed with the seropositive RA factor being negative. Okay, more often we look for RA factor. If it is negative, sometimes we do diagnose rheumatoid arthritis. All of the following features are of asbestosis except. Tell me now. I discussed asbestosis. I expect you to answer. Newcomers, try this. Asbestosis is a restrictive lung disease. Obstructive lung disease. I want to answer for newcomers. Asbestosis is a restrictive lung disease. Okay. Now
yes, sir.
you got something here. You can see this emphysema. There won't be the asbestosis doesn't produce emphysema. Diffuse pulmonary interstitial fibrosis can occur definitely.
Yes,
As I
sir.
said, fibrous pleural calcification, pleural plaque, and all that. Okay, plaque is here. Fibrous thickening of the pleural thickening can be there. Diffuse can be there. This is not a feature of asbestosis. Okay. Which type of pneumoconiosis will present with asthma like picture?
Vicinosis.
Yeah, good. You are alert. True statements about asbestosis. Causes: lung, CA, true. Pleural mesothelioma, peritoneal mesothelioma, pulmonary fibrosis. Yeah, the answer will be this. All of
All
these
of
are
them.
there. Okay. So all of the following about silicosis are true except pleural plaques. Where you get?
Asbestos.
Asbestosis.
Asbestos.
Yeah, this is in. Predilection for upper lobe. True. Yeah. TB also there only, na. Where there is a TB along with that. Okay. Calcified hyaline lymphadenopathy. Eggshell
Yes, sir.
pattern.
Excellent pattern.
Calcification. Okay. Associated with the
Yes, sir.
tuberculosis. Then the what is except one?
Pleural
Pleural
plaques.
plaques. Yeah, that is the answer because it is a except. Today's last question. Tomorrow will. Okay. Which of the following is true about pneumoconiosis?
Second one, sir. Not
Second
true.
one, pneumocystis is not associated.
Which one is true? Second, third, first, last. Pleural
Second one
plaque
is not true,
of
sir.
asbestos is always symptomatic.
Yes, sir.
I told first only it can be there as a benign thing. It suggests exposure. It doesn't make always patient symptomatic. Okay, patient can have a pleural plaque with asbestosis yet be asymptomatic. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
This
sir.
is not the one. It is always symptomatic. Is put your C's. Silicosis is not associated with increased risk of tuberculosis. False. This is false. Okay.
False.
Asbestosis and smoking act synergistically to cause lung cancer. Yeah.
Yes,
Coal
sir.
workers, pneumoconiosis is associated with lung cancer.
Yes, sir.
Coal workers, no.
No, sir.
I'll show how the coal worker lung. You have seen Amitabh's movie, Khalia.
Sir?
Khalia? Khalia is a Shah Rukh Khan's new one, nah? I don't know. Just see that. I forgot. I got confused. Koila. What is that?
Sir. Cola.
Cola, yeah, cola. That is it. And they'll put some hot coal inside his throat that he'll not be able to talk. Shah Rukh, something like that, yeah. It is not pneumoconiosis, however. That is something related to some other reason he'll put into the throat and he'll not be able to speak. Shah Rukh. Amrish Puri is there in that. And he is the villain. He will put that. Okay. Coal workers pneumoconiosis. Even one Bachchan's movie is also there. I think so that is Kalia. Hmm? And then Shatrughan Sinha and Bachchan are there in that movie. Hmm? Okay. Coal workers, pneumoconiasis. Those days, there are a lot of movies used to come with coal workers, coal and all that. Hmm? Also known as a black lung disease. Hmm? Okay, there are two types: simple and complicated. Otherwise, also called as progressive. Simple coal worker, complicated. Simple, it will be simple. Complicated, it will be complicated. I'll show the how it will be. Simple. There's no fibrosis here. Only you can see this all is coal. Huh? You can see now only coal sitting here. I'll show how horrible it will be. Complicated. You can see cavity, fibrosis, all this thing. Huh? Coal workers, pneumoconiasis. Huh? Hmm? This will be. This is a progressive disease, very bad prognosis. Okay. This is a and the complications, airflow obstruction, chronic bronchitis. Patient may be prone for TB also. Respiratory failure, hypoxemia, what is carpulmonale? Arrhythmias,
Right heart failure and
Right
hypertension.
ventricular hypertrophy, sir.
right
With
ventricle
or without,
hypertrophy or
with or
failure.
with,
Secondary to
without secondary to long
secondary to
COPD.
pulmonary vasculature of the lung, whatever. Hmm? Both of them can cause carpulmonale. Yeah, this is for today. Tomorrow I'll be discussing from the 11 to 20 questions. Huh?
Yes, sir.
So, what doubts you have, you can ask now. Dr. Vani, Mahank Vani,
Yes, sir.
you have got any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, sir. So you will read. I know this topic is a bit complicated. It will not be, you will not be able to remember things. Just go back and read Harrison. Try to read Harrison. You will really get confused. But go with calm mind. You read it. You will get it. Okay. Hmm? Okay. Then tomorrow, as most some people are doing because of Eid, they were asking class to be taken at 6 o'clock. So tomorrow's class already I put the link. Oh, it will be at 6 o'clock in the evening. Okay.
Thank
Huh?
you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Tell your friends
Thank you,
because
sir.
many of in fact gave were asking requesting. So till Eid, but Ramadan 26th, we'll take at 6 o'clock. Maybe we'll be having some difficulties. Anyway, we'll try to take at the time. Afterwards, we'll resettle with 8 o'clock. Maybe we'll see how it comes. Because when lockdown is taken out, there will be definitely a lot of changes happening. Huh? There will be classes undoubtedly. The timings there will be a bit of variation in that. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Don't worry, after lockdown, there won't be, we will not be, we'll be taking classes, undoubtedly. Our team is increasing, and gynecologist Dr. Kulgod, she has joined. She'll be taking class probably maybe in the next week or something. Already Dr. Vasangdi, and Madam is taking class for PNSM. Huh? Other subjects will be adding slowly. Huh? Tell your friends to hmm, get enrolled to the class. Hmm? Hmm? Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Students can leave.